Well, welcome to KIN 466 Foundations in Sports Science. Thanks for taking the class. And in this presentation, I want to give you sort of a big picture about what this class is going to be about. It's obviously sports science, and it has to do with foundations. So sports science, what we'll learn is a big area, and it's used a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. And I'll go through a number of different presentations, especially early in this course, in this semester, sort of giving a sense of how sports science is used, both in context and in practical use. In this presentation, like I said, I just want to give you a big picture of what this course is about. So let me share my screen. And Foundations in Sports Science. I'm Dr. John Mercer. I am professor in the Department of Kinesiology and Nutrition Sciences, and I also am part of the leadership team for UNLV's Sports Innovation Institute. This has been an important initiative to help respond to the sudden and rapid growth in interest of sports science locally. With the rapid growth of professional teams here in Las Vegas, the university had to really respond with more sports science information to help prepare students to help support the wide variety of positions and career paths that people can pursue in this area of sports science. And so that's part of what this class is in response to. Let's see. So I'm going to tackle the first thing, sports science versus sports science. Subtle thing. But you'll hear some funny discussions about should there be an S or should there not be an S on sport science. We will use the non-S version of this most of the time, but I'm sometimes lazy and I often will refer to sports science as well. But both terms cover, in essence, the same broad areas from biomechanics, exercise physiology, motor control and learning, psychology, performance analysis of some sort, nutrition, injury prevention and rehab, and even things like sport business can even fall within sports science and data analytics. There's another arm to all this. And so this is not an all-inclusive list here, but the idea is to just give you a sense that there's a lot of different areas that come into play to understand sports science. So let's go through some of the wording of sport versus sports science. If we look sports science, if we look linguistically or regional nuance, sports science is more favored in British and Commonwealth countries, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Sport in this area is used more like an uncountable type of sense, so more of a general concept or an area like music or math or education, things like that. Sports science is probably a little bit more common in the US, where sports is more as a noun and implies the study of multiple individual sports. All right, so very nuanced, but sort of fun to think about. Let's go. The perceived connotation is when we use sports science, sort of gives a sense of more of a formal or theoretical focusing on sport or as a cultural or physiological phenomena. So more of a broad picture of the study of sport, where sports science is a little bit more applied, maybe emphasizing practical knowledge for a specific sport. In any case, the difference is subtle, and really it's not intentional, and it's mostly a naming choice. But it is sort of fun to pay attention to when people use sport or sports as a plural. So your readings for this week include this one, very brief, but I put this in there just so you have a sense of where a number of the papers that we're going to go through come from. There's a special issue on sports science, singular, and performance, and a number of papers that we're going to read from this. I don't think I have all of them in our readings, but I included a number of them. You might even want to go get this issue and look at the other papers that were included in this issue. So it's a very brief short editorial in terms of, hey, we're going to talk about this. This is important. This is published in 2024. Sports science is sort of this booming area, and we've got to sort of wrap our arms around what this really means and what we are talking about when we say we're doing sports science. And there's all different types of sports science careers. I know this is a little small to see. You'll have this PowerPoint that you can read. There's a lot of different sport avenues of work. And what's important for this class is we really want to hold our hat. We really want to hold on to the science term that is part of sports science. We want to use science to understand sport performance, sport injury, rehabilitation, whatever it is. We want to use the science behind the sport. And different careers you can get into: exercise physiologist, biomechanist, and they're not often called this. They may be a senior research analyst or something like that. It's actually really tough to sort of group these different careers based upon keywords for their different titles. But it could be a performance analysis, could be strength and conditioning coach, could be sports psychologist or athletic trainer, sport nutritionist, motor control specialist, rehab specialist. These are examples, okay, and not all inclusive. But I did try to give a sense of the types of degrees that you would need for these different areas, maybe some certifications that you'll need to pursue, and then the types of employment settings that you may find yourself if you're pursuing one area or the other. But again, not an all-inclusive list, but it is something that, start going to your job search engines and type in sports science, or type in exercise physiologist or sport exercise physiology or sport biomechanist, and see what you're coming up with in terms of jobs. And I'm not even including areas like physical therapy or MD or DO. These are areas that people can emphasize a sport application and be a sport specialist in physical therapy or sports medicine or what have you. Really important to dive into the local sports science scene. You can find this website. It's part of our UNLV Sports Innovation Institute. I've got the link right there. This is just jobs and internships, and we have different links to different organizations, from the Aces to the Raiders to the Vegas Golden Knights. Cirque du Soleil has always been part of Las Vegas, and they have elite athletes that need an understanding of sports scientists. Las Vegas Desert Dogs lacrosse team, I already said the Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Lights. There's a number of sport entities that are in town now and still coming to town. And all of these sport entities will have some form of sports science within them, or most likely. And so it's good to be exploring what there is locally as well as nationally. Something I'm going to talk about throughout this course is pushing sports science out to the community. And through the UNLV Sports Innovation Institute, I started a mobile lab called the SPEED Lab, Sport Performance Education and Economic Development Lab. And the idea of this is to take what we have on campus in terms of sports science and take it out into the real world setting. And it's a mobile lab, and it's designed to achieve the Sport Innovation Institute's mission, which is to champion innovation, foster economic development, and elevate education, sport business, and sports science. And our core value in working on this is really built around sport and competition, exercise, being healthy. And so this is a mobile lab that we have that we actually take out to local sport teams, sport communities, K through 12 settings, and deliver education. We do testing of sport performance testing of athletes, from youth athletes to professional athletes. And the idea is to have a lot of portable equipment in this lab, and we have a lot of portable equipment. We have portable metabolic cart, we have body composition instruments we can take out into the field, muscle activity instruments, we've got the ability to measure forces, kinematics, all sorts of things that we can do out in the field, which is important. And portability is great, but it's also hard. And whenever we do field type of work, we have to really follow some best practices to be able to get some good data, either for research purposes or for evaluating talent. And finally, let me just put it here. The end goal of this course really was designed with this idea that we would get students in this pipeline of sports science to be able to be part of our community outreach types of programs. So being part of a speed lab engagement, going and doing a combine testing of kids flag football, or going to some professional combine testing of professional athletes. And you as a student will be able to get some information in this course to give you an understanding of the interdisciplinary nature of sport science, and then how do we use these different areas to help athletes or help a team, or ultimately generate long-term knowledge. So through this course, we'll go through an educational and experiential learning opportunities to explore sports science career options, and ultimately prepare you to be part of any of our lab activities. If you've watched the syllabus presentation, you'll see that there is a get involved element to the course, but it's not graded. It's just something that I will encourage you to get involved with any of the activities that we have that are connected to sports science. And the more that you get engaged, the more you're going to learn about different career options and different areas where you can study maybe a little bit more or fill some gaps in knowledge through some different courses. Okay, so that's sort of a big picture or sort of overall introduction to sports science. Thanks so much.